Welcome back to What Gets Measured, a NinjaCat podcast about marketing, performance management, metrics, and effectiveness, because what gets measured gets managed. I'm your host, Jake Sanders, and today we're talking about what it really takes to build a marketing data stack that's ready for AI. Joining us today is Luke Ambrosetti, Principal Industry Architect for Marketing at Snowflake. Luke has experience as a solutions and support engineer and brings deep technical expertise to his work, helping brands navigate the shift toward owning their own data, building strong data foundations, and making AI actually useful inside modern marketing organizations. If you've been trying to understand why so many AI initiatives stall, how data architecture impacts marketing performance, or what AI fluency really means for marketers and data teams, this chat with Luke delivers a solid, experience-driven look at where the industry is headed and what leaders need to get right next. So let's get to it. Luke Ambrosetti, welcome to the podcast. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Jake?
Oh, man. So happy. It took many weeks to get this set up. So I'm so happy that we already we found time. And just to start, you're out there talking to real marketers. I mean, this is a podcast. We're probably listening to this in the privacy of our homes. You had a martech event. You were out shaking hands. I just kind of, welcome to the show, but tell us what it's like talking to real marketers. Just give us a brief of that experience.
No, I get. It's one of the reasons I love what I do here at Snowflake, and just do as part of my job. I did it before Snowflake as well. Is getting to work and talk to and help marketers solve challenges or problems. So you're talking about last night we had this great event in New York City that we invited a bunch of folks, from brands, from martech platforms, from stealth startups, all came in, talked about martech and AI. About 20 or so of us showed up at a bar for, and had a great time. All kinds of topics. It was a lot of fun.
I think and people came. I think the conversion rate, it's like, well, what's the conversion rate on those invitations? People showed up and they were having great chats. So anyway, just to give you some grounding on Luke, he's out there shaking hands. He's not just in some ivory data center tower. He's a people's man. So thank you for coming on. We want to talk about marketing stacks because it is a technical kind of show. We're talking to agencies and brands. But before we get into the stacks, I wanted to talk about the bricks, the data. You said you've been out, moonlighting socially, talking to marketers. How has this conversation around marketing data changed? How do you think it's changed over the last 5 years with AI? And what hasn't changed?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to me that's changed is this idea of brands owning more of their own data and their data processes, right? As you think about how brands have operated, and this is so my background is more of the owned media side, right? I come from, people call it CRM, people call it retention or loyalty marketing, right? I have less so experience before Snowflake in the paid side, although my colleagues at Snowflake have taught me a lot about paid media.
Right.
Brands have traditionally relied on, agencies or these martech platforms really help wrangle or own to help understand their own data. And what I'm seeing the most is that brands are starting to really want to take control of their own data and of their own processes with data. And it's not just marketing too. There's actually, this goes beyond marketing. I would say it's one of the reasons I actually wanted to go to Snowflake is because I felt like Snowflake was embracing that idea. But that was probably one of the biggest things I've changed over the past several years is that brands are wanting to control their own data. And I think with technology, especially in the last couple of years with AI, the bar has been lowered significantly. It wasn't and hasn't always been easy, but with AI, it is becoming a lot easier. And it's becoming a lot more approachable for brands to do this themselves.
It really is. And so, I mean, I guess, and that follow-up is what hasn't changed. And I guess it's still a data size problem. It's still a data transportation problem. I mean, AI maybe have made it better, but just because you can move a bunch of data in doesn't mean you're better. Like, do you think that big data is still this ghost or something?
I don't think, big data was a popular term years and years ago,
I
right?
know
I don't
I'm dating myself by
Oh, no, no,
even
no. I'm
saying
just
it.
saying, like, people, it's a data size problem. No, I think the data size problem has been solved,
Right.
effectively. It's now about, finding outcomes, from that data. And it's about, making use, like, the people have talked about, because of the big data challenge, right?
Right.
People have talked about, you turn into this a data swamp, right? Or, garbage in, garbage out. You hear a lot
That,
of these,
yeah.
like, kind of cliches almost as what they are now, right?
Right.
There are true problems. Yeah, they really are. And
Right.
so the actual storage and the compute, I feel like has been a solved problem. Many companies, there are many companies out there who are helping to solve that challenge. It's more of, how do we make sure we understand and we get the right outcomes from the big data, right?
Right.
Just storing it and just collecting it is, it's probably kind of more of the easier part now.
It feels like table stakes, and you're right. I guess I was kind of hinting towards that garbage thing, sort of discernment. And when you hit on outcomes, that's the buzzword du jour now.
It is.
What's interesting is, like, what were we thinking about before? Were you thinking about outcomes until everybody started saying it? Nah.
Yeah.
The people who were serious about it were the people who found the technical ability to move the data, have figured it out. But I think now, let's move on. You got your data. It's fine. What about sitting in between technical teams and business stakeholders? Like,
Mhm.
you've spent time as a solutions engineer. I wanted to get your thought on a disconnect between what marketing leaders think their data stack can do and what's actually happening underneath, because it is that data layer. Snowflake is kind of cool because data is underneath it all. Do you think there's a disconnect between, I got my stack, it's all good, what's actually happening under the hood? Are people seeing that straight?
Yeah, it's forever a struggle,
A
right?
struggle. Oh, we haven't solved that, Luke? Darn it.
No, no, of course not. I don't think that's it's I naively thought at one point that might have been solved,
Maybe.
or that might be solved sooner rather than later.
Sure.
But no, it goes back to, even like kind of bridging to the outcomes, right?
Sure.
It's actually one of the reasons I love to do what I do, over not even again Snowflake, but even before my time at Snowflake,
Mhm.
is to help be that bridge, right? Technical people, architects, I love them. They're great. I'm a nerd. I mean, I am a nerd at heart, really. Sometimes, though, us nerds, we think about more of the technical perfection and the technical architecture over finding what is that business outcome that the business needs. And I'm using the word outcome there still, but it really is, what is the business use case? What does the business actually want to get done?
Mm.
And you have to find a way to sure, there is a good way to achieve a good technical architecture to get there, but where are the technical teams focused? Are they focused more on that perfection or serving the business? I think over time it has become more apparent that the business leaders need to go and rely on their technical teams more, and that the technical teams need to focus on really providing value to the business and being a part of, not just being a cost center, but especially within marketing, being a part of that
Oh,
revenue driver.
yeah.
And so I think the understanding is getting there. Of course, there's always going to be a struggle. There's always going to be, budgets. There's going to be things that are going to be tough to bridge and to connect.
Right.
And it's fun that I get to help with that a lot of the time. So yeah, it's still a struggle. It's there are ways to help solve it. There are patterns or things to do if we want to get into them, but it's not a solved problem yet.
Well, and I like that you're willing to admit the technical obsession for perfection is an easy recursive loop to fall into. You're like, well, we can make it better. We can make it better. But
Mhm.
for what?
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. I mean, I've talked to huge holding companies, data folks that are literally just in a room by themselves, never go on a ride along, don't know why they're doing what they're doing for clients. That leadership, is there this relationship, I think it's tough because you tell the data science folks, hey, you have to be marketable, you have to sell your stuff, quit being a cost center. Like I'm turned off already. Is there a word of advice that could get people inspired, the data types, to find that value and create a story, that kind of packages the perception of their work, or because these are technical folks. How are they going to slap a price tag on their work? Like, what's your
I know
advice to them?
it's a hard.
Of course, it's hard.
It's there's not. I would say there's not a one stop answer.
I wouldn't think that you were going there, but some advice, because I've heard it numerous times, and I was like, man, that's probably tough to hear.
You have to build a true partnership with your business stakeholders, right? Like the ones
Nice.
who the technical leaders that I get to work with at, especially on the brand. I do work with some agencies too, but I do most of my work with brands. The technical stakeholders at the brands have to meet their business stakeholders. They have to have a good partnership, and the ones who do it, the ones who I feel like do the best job at marketing, that relationship is so solid. It's so tight. Sometimes even to the point of where they feel like even their leaders are saying and doing the wrong things, and they can work together to push back on them, right? So you got to have to build that relationship. And then for technical folks too, what I also say is you have to, if you're not already, it's a very popular thing in data at the very least, is to talk about data products, right? Or to think about what is your asset catalog that you're actually able to give to your business stakeholders, right? Or even to give to others internally, right? If you can have a catalog of data products that you can go and showcase to both not only your business stakeholders, but to leadership as well, that's what you need to start thinking about if you're not doing that. If you're still reacting in or if you're still very reactive in how you do your work, then that's not going to win the day for you.
Oh my gosh. Well, and as you were speaking, I was like, this sounds like a portfolio for a creative person. Like, give us some examples of work that you've done. And if it's all trapped in a spreadsheet, whose fault is that? That's some real tea you're pouring here, Luke.
Oh yeah, and these data products, they have to be accessible. They have to be, discoverable, visible, right?
And understandable to an audience that isn't highly technical, right? I mean,
again, AI is lowering the bar there. It really
right.
is, right? As you think about what we can do to help understand what's in, and a data product isn't just a set of, it's not just a set of data. It's not just a table or a spreadsheet of data. It is the understanding of what is customer churn, right? Like customer churn, or what is the propensity to buy something. Like those are or can be data products, and how you interact with those, how you define those is a data product.
Yeah, there's a word, marketing engineer. There's a new term coming around, and now again, you're like, cool buzzword. People were doing this before you had a term for it. So I don't know. It just seems like a highly technical person with a little bit of skill and curiosity about marketing function and the business and the actual outcomes. You're going to be the one-eyed king in the land of the blind. Here's my question. Get into these technical challenges. Marketing leaders, what's one technical challenge that they consistently underestimate until they're deep into AI implementation?
One technical challenge for marketing leaders. Interesting.
I feel like we kind of answered it. A technical challenge. I'm thinking strategic. You answered the strategic thing.
Yeah, I would say a technical challenge is in. I'll say, like, given, let's maybe put it in the scope of AI.
Mm-hmm.
With AI, I don't always know if marketing practitioners understand from a data point of view, how does AI work, right? Or have you become AI fluent, right? And from your own enterprise data, right? Let's just push away marketing and customer data. From your own enterprise data, do you know what your data teams actually need to do to make this work? Because I think if marketers can get maybe just a little bit smarter about becoming AI fluent, then they can actually go and partner and build that relationship better with their data teams. There's this idea of context, of semantics that is extremely important, within AI. And I've seen, of course, some marketing leaders get it recently. Some don't as much, which is fine. It's a learning curve. There's a learning process.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a chunky
It is.
subject.
It is, but I would say it's something that is becoming extremely important.
Critical.
What I would also tell marketers, I've always kind of been along the mindset that if you have to be curious as a marketer and you have to try and want to understand the tech and maybe even get a little bit more technical. Again, with AI has lowered the bar significantly. I'm just trying to encourage people, like, go spin up, Claude Code, go spin up, Codex, or we have Cortex Code at Snowflake. I've seen so many people who've either not coded in a couple of decades or not done any sort of coding whatsoever, build some really cool things. I mean, you can truly build some really fun things. I think I've told people I've written more lines of code in the past 6 months than I have in my entire career.
Yeah.
Just in this, and so it's amazing that I want to just encourage people to, become AI fluent and just get your hands on the tools as much as possible, because understanding it more not only helps you build a relationship, it helps you understand the challenges that your data teams have to go in and solve at a large scale.
Right.
But it also helps you in your own career and your own knowledge of how things work.
And one of the things that I've experienced, and I've seen it, there's an open Slack internally, and people are engaging with an AI agent that we created. And it's amazing to see the level of technical, contextual proficiency that goes into using these things. It is not like, spin me up a deck, boom.
Yeah.
It's not like that at all. They're like, I need you to look at Q2 for this metric, and compare it to this. And then but that intent is the thing that makes Claude Code work. If you have a curiosity backed with an intent, boy, you're going to catch some fire. But I think a lot of people want the insights. They don't want to set up the infrastructure. Talk to me about modern AI-ready data architecture. What does that actually look like for brands and agencies? People want all this stuff. They want to spin this up. There's a quicker way to do it. Can you talk to us about that AI-ready data?
Yeah, I'm trying to put some thoughts, down and on paper for this exactly. And, so I've thought about this a little bit. I think, of course, you have to think about with AI and this idea of context. Of course, you're going to have customer marketing structured data. That's one of the easiest, lowest hanging fruits that people can go and get started with.
Is that like first party data then for anybody who's following at home?
Data, but also even just any of your performance data for campaigns.
Things coming off of your activities. Yeah.
Yeah. And that, to go and put what's called a semantic model or semantic view, semantic layer. There's lots of different terms, but for this over that data and to be able to chat with that natural language is one of the easiest things that you can do today. It really is. That said, you want to start to go and think about what's outside that box, right? You want to go into unstructured data. All right, how with AI and just agents in general, I want to go and be able to reason in between my unstructured content, my creative assets, the actual performance of those assets, and even down to a segment or person level of how does Luke enjoy this type of creative over another type of creative, right? That's I would say that the next layer. And then the third layer, which I think this is actually why I'm writing about more of this or want to, is how does your team make decisions, right? This goes beyond just the data and the content that's out there. Right. Who sets what a customer is inside your company? Who sets what and how's that defined? Where is that defined? Being able to capture, I would just say organizational data, whether that's through email, that's through something like a Slack or Teams, That's through, your own team calls, your own team strategy calls. How can you capture all of that? Because that's also important for AI to
Huge.
go and reason with, and to bring that into, oh, if I want to go and, it's to your point of here's Q1, the like that all becomes very easy, or you don't have to have all that context if you capture that all in the right way. And so there's a process here that I'm trying to think about what's ideal for marketing teams. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's some easy ways to get started, but there really is some really cool things that teams can do with AI.
And semantics is so key. I mean, that was, normalization, taxonomy. I was a marketer practicing, still am. I'm out there. But when I started to work with NinjaCat, I was like, oh my God, it's all data. What if you don't think that all of this is data, you're missing the boat.
It
Because
is all
some
data.
people are like, I'm a marketer. And you're like, well, the algorithm took control of your numbers. There's a calculator that's running your campaigns. Like, you better check in to the
Well, I
stats,
mean, there's
to
something
the
to be said
data.
for there's still something to be said for brand marketing and for top of funnel that is less, what does the data say? Like, there's still something to be said for that, right? But and
Sure.
at least the world that I live in and the marketers that I'm talking to, yes. I mean, when you think about all the things I just mentioned, from the structured data all the way through, like, team, like, it is all data, right? It
It
is
is.
all data at the end of the day.
Yeah, and if you don't have a comfortable feeling or a fluent feeling, because a lot of marketers are just, well, let's be honest, they're failed artists. They want to be creative. I want to be creative. Do the data work. Make your case for creativity. You speak this language. Talk to the technical people. Talk to the finance people. So I love that Snowflake approaches this. The zero copy data thing, when that came out, I was like, why isn't this the way we do it? Because data was moving. Data's in transport. I'm moving big data. You got data stuck in a pipe somewhere. Forget it.
Mhm.
So I love that Snowflake, you're partnering with everybody everywhere. And you mentioned the importance of partnerships. Why is it so important for Snowflake, who is branching out and getting into all different types of data? Why is partnership so important for you?
As you probably know, marketing is an ecosystem, right? There is an ecosystem here, and the ecosystem changes constantly. I mean, there's been lots of industry news this week, right, about that. But it is an ecosystem. There is, you cannot just think that you're going to go and solve the world's problems on your own for marketers,
Right.
right? As I think ideally we would all love that.
Oh, that'd be great.
But it is an ecosystem, and we want to make it, at least in Snowflake, want to make it as easy as possible for someone to operate, in that ecosystem, whether that is, a brand, or someone on the, like, more of a platform, or a publisher, agency, right? All of it. We've wanted to make it as easy as possible, and data sharing, of course, as you know, Jake, has been a huge key to make that work. I would say, personally, and I've written a lot on it the past few months. I think the zero copy stuff has gotten, what's the right word for this? Watered down, I think, is probably the most politically correct term that I can use. I wouldn't. I would, if it was just us one on one, I would use a different term. But yeah, it's watered down, unfortunately. But the intent's still there, right? You
Right.
want to make this as seamless and easy as possible to use this data to go and collaborate on data, with your partners, and that can include internally as well. It's not just externally, right? That's
Right.
also internal.
Yeah, and NinjaCat's part of the partnership network, integrated with all of these amazing things that Snowflakes is doing, and it's cool to talk to people who see the value of data, governance, semantics, context. This is where we're headed, folks. What back to this question of getting AI to work. I wanted to ask you one before I ask this one. Have you seen an organization, you don't have to name names or anything, have you seen somebody who just made this AI implementation rock? Like somebody who just had all of the semantics handled. Like Is there a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for us talking about, great AI ready data marketing stacks? Is there somebody out there that's just killing it with it?
Um, I would say different use cases, different pockets, right? Like there's no one, in my opinion, no one has reached the dream of
Yeah, Nirvana, Valhalla.
right. Like no one, but there's been some amazing thing. I'll tell you, I can't mention the actual company.
Don't worry about it.
As a B, like so the talk to some B2B marketers and their data scientists, and they're just doing something incredible, something I didn't think was possible. But it was really, really cool. I was at a conference where I was at a booth and we were demoing kind of what Snowflake could do alongside this other partner. And they came and did a reverse demo for us. They showed us, oh, look what we built with Snowflake, with Cortex, with a Cortex agent. And this is how we now run all of our marketing, like, all the way up. Our CEO uses this, today to do that. It's like to create content. And it's just like I was blown away. And so there are pockets like I have probably 3 or 4 stories like that
Right.
for different use cases, but just completely blown away about how innovative some of our customers are being. And so it inspires me because, a lot of times it's like I'm trying to bang my head against the wall to try and get customers to adopt some of the ideas that we have.
Right.
And I'm like, oh no, a lot of them can just do this, come up with cool stuff on their own. They don't need me to tell them what to do.
Well, and I think there's something about that frustration of I want it to work, but you got to have people who want to work show up to it, and
Yeah.
then they just show you what it does. It's a really interesting thing, like adoption, implementation, and that goes to this question. We did some research. We asked a bunch of marketing leaders, 500 of them, about AI implementation, and one of the findings we had was AI maturity is related to organizational maturity.
Absolutely.
And so, in what ways do you think AI is helping the development of stronger org charts? And do you think there are ways it could hinder this work?
As far as like organizational change,
Or just strengthening the org?
yeah, I haven't thought much about how it could strengthen the org. I think I've thought more about, from an organizational perspective, it's been over relied on, and how that's how people are dictating organizational policies based off of that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's in every regard, and that's not just from what I experience at my own job, but what I talk to from customers as
Everywhere,
well
yeah.
about their process challenges and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a pretty, especially from last night when I was talking to folks, it seems like a pretty universal concern. So I was glad it wasn't just me.
Right.
At least from what I've seen with our own customers and my own experience.
Right.
So I've thought more about that. I haven't thought about like what it can solve. I have seen some cool things that even our team has done. We're at Snowflake. It's been amazing. I don't think we're releasing any of this yet, but I can talk about how we've kind of started to skillify everything, right? So I've written multiple skills for my own efficiency and my own day to day, but I've seen our own corporate teams, create. These are Cortex code skills, but this is the same as a Claude code skill, right? To go through and to do different tasks and to help, to analyze different things as a part of the company as a whole. So I think that, yes, from that point of view, yes, but I'm still a little bit concerned, from the over reliance on it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and it kind of seems like a pretty good place to leave a conversation, but it's actually what I've found, it's the best way to start one. Usually when I come up with an artifact, I bring it to someone and I'm like, what do you think of this? Like, what part of this is working? What part of it, and then we kind of massage things, and I go in there with all my intent, all my, technical wherewithal.
Sure.
And then I get something nice enough to share and have a talk about it. And every time we do that, it's amazing. So it's a blend. And I'm preparing for another interview, but someone's saying software as a service, context as a business, blink, blank, blue, blue. And I was like, it's this as this. It's this or this. It's this with this. And I think, like, as a solutions engineer, you have an appreciation for the fact like, sure, the product's great. You have to help these people meet this in their moment and make it work. And if you don't, it doesn't matter how great it is, you know?
Exactly.
So I really love that you have that heart and you're willing to take people to the next level. That bridge, I thought that was beautiful. What did I say?
It's fun. I mean, it really is. I would say if I could tell anybody, if anyone asked me, like, what's the coolest role in marketing, right? In any capacity, it is the bridge, right? Of being able to take to translate what data is seeing and what the data folks want, or what I would say just general IT wants, to what marketing needs, right? And vice versa. It's the coolest role that anybody could have, in my opinion.
Bro, because when you hit, like, it's like, okay, so I want the people to love my work as a marketer, but when the salespeople like it, when the IT people like it, you know, and it's like, that's a rarefied feeling, but you never get it unless you subject yourself to that pressure, that scrutiny, those relationships, those partnerships. Luke, you're amazing. I'm going to ask you one more question, and then let's just pretend that you see a marketer over there and they're staring at their marketing stack and they're crying. And they're like, and you're like, I don't know if I should go up. I'm going to go up. And then you go up and you're like, hey, friend, what's your one piece of advice for this person?
One piece of advice. Just throw it all away. Just throw all of it away. No, I'm joking. Right?
He's kidding.
No, it's pick one thing. Just pick one thing that makes you the most sad, looking at that, and just go attack that, right?
Back to sadness. That's your strategy.
I think this is everybody, but I know, like, at work, I get pretty overwhelmed with lots of things coming at me. I think
that's just you, Luke. Sorry.
I think anybody, right, can relate, right?
Yes,
to that.
of course.
But that's what I feel like when people are looking and crying at their martech stack. It's like there's just so many different problems, and all of it just feels exhausting, right?
Yeah.
Just pick one thing. I would say selfishly pick something foundational, right? Pick something foundational that you can build upon and can make the next thing that you pick even better and even faster to implement. That would be my selfish recommendation, right? Given who I work for, but yeah, let's pick one thing and make because then once you have that one thing, you feel better about it. You feel less sad about how things are going.
Yeah, stack up a quick win. And I don't think it's selfish, because the stuff Snowflake is doing is the future of all of this. It's data. It's the fundamental layer. It's the soil that we're going to grow stuff from. So no, not selfish. Yes, head to the bottom, attack the sadness. Luke, you're amazing. You're hooking up events. You're shaking hands. People want to connect with you, learn more online. How can they do that?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Just connect with me on LinkedIn. I need to get back to it. I write some Medium blogs that are more technical. Mm-hmm. I put out some stupid thoughts on LinkedIn and LinkedIn articles that
not stupid.
So people say that they like them. I don't know if I always like them, but they are and can be fun for me to put out there. So yeah, just connect with me on LinkedIn.
Cheese or chocolate?
Are you ready?
Yes.
Cheese or chocolate?
Cheese.
All right. It's early.
It is early, but I'm not a sweet. I'm not a sweet tooth guy necessarily.
It's fine. You don't have to explain yourself here. Okay. No wrong answers. But cheese was close. Okay, here we go. Darth Vader or Voldemort?
Given my name, Darth Vader.
I was just thinking about that. And I was like, I bet he got tortured. Like, Luke, I am your father. And you're like, get out of here, man.
It's actually, I had to correct people. It's actually, he says, no, I am your father, right? Not Luke. So just fun fact.
Oh, man. And we're learning something. We're breaking news.
Misquote it all the time. Yeah.
This is going to be the best episode yet. Okay. Oh, I hope you don't get in trouble with this. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke. No. That's... I am so much a Coke fan. I will not drink. I actually will not drink Pepsi.
You're that guy. When they say, because sometimes I order Coke and they're like,
okay. I say no. Give me a water.
You just go. Man, it's crazy to see
Very
you.
strong feelings about that.
Man, I love it because principles. Luke has them. Okay.
Been a long time in Atlanta too, so that also helps.
That secures the vote. Okay, couple more. Ballet and opera or line dancing and yodeling?
Oh, that's a hard one, actually.
Is it?
I think so. I think depending on my mood, but I would probably line dancing and yodeling.
Sounds funner, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, I grew up on music. I play a few different instruments,
Nice,
so
man.
ballet opera actually is something I would do.
Yeah, but if you want to have fun, let's be honest.
If I want to have real fun, yeah, I agree.
Kick it up and yodel a bit. Okay, two more. Train or plane?
Plane.
Who's
I'm
taking
gonna
a
take
train?
plane.
Who's taking a train?
They're fun, but
Let's be
just get me there
serious.
faster, please.
No, let's be serious. I need to get to Cleveland. Okay, last one. Arm wrestle a bear or leg wrestle an ostrich?
The ostrich just sounds like it'd be more fun and it would look hilarious. So I have to go with the ostrich.
I'm glad you're thinking about it, but let me just ponder this.
Yeah, I think it would just look fun. It would just look funnier, right? And just be funnier in general.
I think you're right. Again, wasn't a right answer, but that was it. Bam!